Okay, so just real quick, a little disclaimer before we get started. These are not going to be step-by-step tutorials. These are just challenges, and for funsies, I will of course tell you what I just did or what I'm going to do, and I will make sure that the pattern is available for you like this. So you can take screenshots. I will make sure that you can get the whole pattern. Okay, so I took some of your guys' advice. I just went straight up. I didn't work any decreases. And then whenever I had about 12 more rows to go, I started off with 2 increases just to jumpstart it. And then at every other row, I added an increase to get it to stretch across and come around. Now I need to bring the armholes closed. I'm just gonna leave them. Okay, and then here's the front. And so it's a high collar jacket. It's going to come up onto the high collar just like it's supposed to. And I'm going to add, oops, you can't see my finger, add the stitches around the high collar. Well, I mean like around like this. And work, oops, sorry, got blurry there. Work down, around, up, and then start adding in that edging. So I'm still working on it. This is where I'm gonna leave it today because I've got another video to film and I can crochet only so much. That's where it's gonna live today. Now, another thing is I don't have enough yarn for 2 sleeves. So I have to use a color that's similar but slightly off. Only other color I have, you can see it's similar, but it's more cranberry in nature. So it's going to have 2 more pink undertone type sleeves. Come on. Hi, chokers. Oh, goodness. Hello and welcome to the 1880s, 1890s, and Just Vintage Crochet. Today, I'm going to play around with this book again, and we're going to find out, can I crochet that? So for anyone brand new to this channel, you're just clicking on this video, you have no idea what we're doing over here. I have this book from Weldon. This is a London publication from the late 1800s, the last 20 years of the 1800s, so 1880s to about 1900. And it is packed full of just crochet patterns from, now that was perfect right there, what we just went by. Okay, anything that I have put a sticky note over, we have already worked that pattern. Pardon my dog. Got it out of his system. See, that's what I mean. The little boy barks all the time. So we've already worked that pattern. So there's probably about 12 patterns in this whole book that we just did this one that we've already worked. And so here we go. We've already done those 2. You can find videos for these on my channel. So let's just go ahead and flip through. Now, something I thought of, if all I do is this, I'm only going to be picking patterns on this page. So we have to decide at the beginning of the video if I'm going to pick from the nail or from the finger pad. Okay, so last time we picked from the finger pad, this time I'm going to pick from the nail. So anything that a page lands on top of my fingernail, we're going to make. All right, so let's pick our random pattern. Here we go. Okay, it says night dress sachet. Oh, we already made it. Night dress sachet. We already made that. So let's pick again. Nope. I landed on this. This is just a crochet technique. What do you say we try this? The top of my fingernail did technically land on this. This is a trimming. I'm more excited about this. I think that if we were live, if this was a live video, you guys would be like, yeah, let's do that. So, infant's hood and shawl combined. Okay. What do we need for the infant's hood and shawl combined? Likely the pattern is going to be on the page just before it. Here we go. And is this more of it? Yes, it is. Okay, so we didn't have this benefit with the last video, the lady's jacket. Look at this. We're seeing back, side, and we're seeing it not only on the front, but how it's worn. So we get a lot of benefits from this one. Okay, worked in fan stitch, but where is the pattern? Ah, here we go. It starts right here. Let me get a sticky note. Now, any patterns that are toward the center of the book here, what I mean is toward the binding, I'm not going to be able to share those patterns like as a PDF in my Etsy shop. This book is going to get thrashed if I have to keep smashing it just to be able to get this to print on my flat printer. Now, I have reached out to all 3 local libraries. 2 of them do have book scanners. They do not allow them to be used by the public. So these books are very rare, very hard to come by. You'll learn that if you try to find it. Here you go. So for the sake of not ruining my book, because I have exhausted the binding a little bit by trying to print out these patterns for people. If it's near the binding, I'm sorry. I'm going to make sure that you can screenshot the video, okay, and just go from there. But I just don't want to ruin my book. Oh, my precious. All right, it says here a dainty. Okay, I couldn't tell if, let me get my glasses on. I couldn't tell if that said daisy or dainty. All right, here we go. Glasses are on. A dainty hood and shawl for an infant shown in our engraving. I wouldn't say that's an infant. That looked like just a young child of, I don't know, 12, 10. Okay. Okay, shown in our engraving and being a new adaptation, and being a new adaptation of an old stitch presents no difficulty in working, but will form a most acceptable and useful gift for a young child, or a shawl can be crocheted without the hood if a combined garment is not desired. Procure 2.5 ounces of white and 1/2 ounce of pale blue Shetland wool. Of course, I'm going to use just like a number 4 worsted or DK weight. This will make it bigger, but it also makes it easier for you guys to see and everything like that. Let's see here. Procure all of that. Okay, and a number 10 bone crochet needles. Okay, and 2 yards of pale blue satin ribbon. I don't have any blue ribbon. I'm probably going to go with totally different colors. The white wool is employed for the shawl and the hood. The blue is only used for the border. Okay, the work is executed in rows, forward and backwards. We love that. Of the pattern lies in the height to which the treble stitches, that's going to be double crochet stitches, are drawn up, giving a very pretty effect. Now, I just said that's going to be double crochet. These are Victorian era crochet stitch terms, but to be fair, these are modern UK stitch terms as well. And so they are not the same as US stitch terms, and especially not the same as modern US stitch terms. So a treble crochet, ordinary treble right there, and you look over, it is a double crochet in the current American name, okay? So that's a double crochet. All right, let me get some material. Man, some of this stuff is just so precious. Okay, let me get some material and we'll go from there. Here's the colors I'm going to go with, sort of a powdery pale pink and then kind of this muted coral for the border. This is much, much thicker yarn than what is asked for, but this, I'm hoping, will allow us to make this for adult sizes. So this yarn here, by the way, it's Super Saver brushed. It's lovely, and it calls for a 5.5 hook. I am going to go ahead and follow the recommended hook size. Here is a 5.5. If I find it to be too stiff, I do have a 6, but I think with making such loose double crochets, this 5.5 is going to be fine. I also think that this is also going to be easily adaptable to adult sizes simply by doing this, working with a thicker yarn and a bigger hook. So let's just jump right into the pattern. Okay, starting with a chain of 8 and then working 11 drawn up double crochet into the ring. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Form a ring, chain 4, yarn over, and it said to draw up about 1/2 inch for the first pull. So there we go. Just like that. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 11 elongated double crochet. Let's see, what do we have next? Okay, first row, here we go. Second row, do 4 chain and turn the work. Do 8 treble between the second and third treble stitches. Bear in mind, every time you hear me say treble, just know that it's a double crochet. From the end of the last row, do 4 treble between the 4th and 5th treble stitches, 8 treble between the 6th and 7th treble stitches, 4 treble between the 8th and 9th treble stitches, 8 treble between the 10th and 11th treble stitches, and 1 treble under the space of the chain at the end. And then we move on to the third row. Okay. Chain 4 and turn. And that was 4 chain turn, 8 treble between the second and third. So right here, here's the first and second. So here's the second and third. Okay, there we go, 8. Now it says to do 4 treble between the 4th and 5th. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there we go. 2, 3, and 4. Okay, then it says 4 treble. Oh no, I skipped one. 8 trebles between the 6th and 7th. Okay, so between the 6th and 7th. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 8 treble here. 4 treble between the 8th and 9th. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So right here. 2, 3, and 4. And then we have 8 treble between the 10th and the 11th. So right here on the end. Okay, that's what we are working with now. Let's move on to the third row. Okay, do 4 chain and turn the work. Do 4 treble between the second and third. I'm just going to hold this up and you guys can take screenshot. In fact, let me hold this whole section up for you here so you can get a good screenshot of that. And then this whole bottom section here. Let me hold that flatter for you. Okay. 4 chain. And it says here, we're going to go up to here. Okay. Wow. Each one has a lot of instructions for each row. So here we go. 4 chain, do 4 treble between the second and third treble stitches of the first group of the last row. 4 treble between the 4th and 5th. 4 treble between the 6th and 7th of treble stitches of the first group, 4 treble in the center of the 4 treble stitches of the next group. 4 treble between the second and third, also between the 4th and 5th, also between the 6th and 7th treble stitches in the middle group. 4 treble in the center of the 4 treble stitches of the next group over. 4 treble between the second and third, also between the 4th and 5th, also between the 6th and 7th treble stitches of the last group. 1 treble under the space of the chain at the end of the row. There should be 11 groups of 4 treble stitches in the row. I'm going to do all of that off camera. Now we know how to work between the trebles. And I forgot to work 1 treble under the space of chain at the end of the row like it said to. So there we go. Now I'm going to go ahead, chain my 4, turn, and follow all those instructions. I'll be right back. One thing I did notice, just real quick in case you do want to follow along, when it says to, as we're very first starting, because I already counted all the way over, this next row, it says to work between the 2nd and 3rd. This double crochet right here does not count. So you have to ignore it, and they really want you to work into between the 2nd and 3rd double crochet of the actual group, of the actual shell here. So the math works out. So, okay, I will be back whenever I am done with this row here. And I did work my last stretched out double crochet on the end there. Okay, here is the next. Okay, 4th row, 4 chain and turn. Sorry, I'm trying to get this under the camera. Okay, 8 treble between the 2nd and 3rd of the first group, 4 treble in the center of the 4 treble in the next group, 4 treble in the center of each of the next 3 groups, 8 treble in the center of the next group of 4, 8, okay. Let's see here, in the next group of 4 treble, which is the middle of the row, 4 treble in the center of each of the next 4, 8 treble in the center of the last group, 1 treble under the space of the chain at the end. Then row 5, 4 chain to turn and work in groups of 4 treble as directed in the 3rd row. But there will now, now there will be 17 groups in the row and conclude with 1 treble under the space chain at the end. So I'm going to hold this up for you like this. There you go. So you can take your screenshots. There you go. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and work that really quick, and I will be right back. Okay, so now on to row 6. Here we go. Row 6 starts down here. 4 chains. Oh, and let me show you how that worked out, because it said work in groups of 4s. So by this 5th row, you really start to see how it's shaping out. So I followed the instructions for row 3 down here. Then I worked in groups of 4 all the way up to the center, where I then worked groups of 4 3 times. Then I worked in groups of 4 all the way down, and that's just 1 group of 4 per group of 4. And then down here at the end, 3 groups of 4 whenever we are presented with 8. Then I ended with the double crochet on the end. So I feel like I can see where this is going. So 4 chain, turn, 8 treble between the 2nd and 3rd treble stitches of the first group, 4 treble in the center of each of the next 7 groups, 8 treble at the center. So this feels like it's repeating row 4 now, which is the middle of the row. 4 treble in the center of each of the next 7, 8 in the center of the last group, 1 treble under the chain space. 7th row, there we go. Work as instructed for the 5th row, but now there will be 23 groups. 23 groups in the row. Proceed in the manner of the 2 last rows, always increasing. So you can get 6 additional groups every repetition of the 7th row. And when 29 rows are worked, the shawl will be large enough and may be fastened off. Then we move on to the hood. So I'm going to do that off camera. We pretty much have the formula now. It's mostly a repeat of like row 4 and 5. It's mostly a repeat. Or is it 3 and 4? 4 or 5, 3 and 4. Well, either way, you're going to, every other row, you're going to end with 3 groups of 4, or you're going to end with your 8. So since I have 3 groups of 4 here, I'm going to start this row with 8 and end with 8. The next row, I will start and end with 3 groups of 4. Then the next row after that, I will start and end with the 8 right here. That's how it's going to play out. And then you just work your groups of 4 over all the groups of 4. And you work your 3 groups of 4 into all the groups of 8 at the point. So every other row you will have 3 groups of 4 in the center point, or you will have 8, which will prepare you for working the 3 groups of 4 in the next row. So I'm getting it. 3, 4. So this one here, since I ended with 3 groups of 4, I will begin with 1 group of 8 right in the middle here. This group of 4 is going to get 8. Now I will work 1 group of 4 over each group of 4 that I have. And then in this center group of 4, I will work 8. Again, groups of 4 all the way down to the very last one, where I will also end with 8. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and be right back and then show you the next row. And that's the 2 repeats. Forgive me, the 2 row repeats. Okay, I've worked myself over to the center here. And this is where I'm now going to work 8. Now on the end, I have 1 last group of 4, and here is where I'm also going to work 8. Then work my last double crochet into the chain space. Chain 4. That was row 6. So row 7. So basically you could say all the even rows are going to end and begin with 8 and have 8 in the center, and all of the odd rows are going to be pretty much just straight groups of 4. Because that's what we're about to do now, is just groups of 4. We're not going to work 8 anywhere. Getting to the point with this pattern where I'm starting to get hand fatigue halfway through each row, but I'm getting close to being done with this portion and can move on to the hood. But man, this is my third ball of this that I have used. They are 253 yards a piece. So when this one here is done, I will have used 759 yards, I think, just for the body, because all of this will likely be used on the body as well. I'm at row 24. I have 6 rows to go. And yeah, well, because it's it's like a shawl or whatever, it's getting bigger as it goes. So therefore it's going to require a lot more. But I wanted to give you a little update as to how things are looking. I think this is going to be so stinking cute with the hood on, but it's pretty good size and definitely will fit in an adult by the time it's done. I don't think it'll be the kind of shawl that will go all the way down to like your butt, but even in the picture, it doesn't look like that. We look at the picture, it really just goes sort of down to the, like, I would say that's like the elbows. And then we'll look at it on the child. Yeah, it just kind of goes down to the elbows. There's a whole edging we got to put on here too. This is going to be a very good size. Okay, I just wanted to check in with you. It's the next day. I worked on this to row 16 last night or yesterday. And then this morning I woke up at like 4 a.m., but I got great sleep, okay? I fell asleep at like 10 o'clock last night, so I got great sleep. And I started working on it, so 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. I have done 8 rows. It is currently 8:19, so each row is taking me a little longer to complete because I am starting to get hand fatigue. By the time I get to the point, I'm feeling pains here and in the center of my hand. Not pains, just discomfort. Like, I don't want to exaggerate. I don't want to be dramatic. But yeah, a little bit of hand fatigue. That's all right. I will check back in with you whenever I am done with the body of the piece, and I will start on the hood. Okay, so let's go ahead and start on the hood portion. So what it wants you to do, and I'm going to hold the pattern up so you can see this part. You can see how it's written out. But what they want you to do is come to your starting chain where we very first started this project, our chain of 8, and count 7 rows to the right. So not counting the center, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In that 7th row, grab the last 2 stitches on the edge, because you don't want to work right here because you're going to have a big gap. So grab the last 2 stitches on the edge, and they want us to work a double crochet there. I'm going to go ahead and work an extended double crochet so it doesn't look like it's just a chain. But working around both of these edge stitches, I'm going to go in and draw up a long stitch, and then just work my stacked singles so that it looks cleaner. Now over the next 6 rows, a row being 1, 2, 3, 4, you know what I mean? These are the rows. We're working on the edge of the rows. Grab the last 2 stitches on that edge and work your shells. 1 of 4, 2, 3, and 4. Again, we want a total of 6 of them before the ring. Then we work 4 into our starting chain. And then we begin to work 6 going in this direction, and in the 7th row, just work 1 double crochet. Okay, so next what we're going to do is work a total of 9 rows like this. We just did row 1 of 9. So each row, we're going to work 1 double crochet on top of the double crochet. Here is where I'm going to work my stacked singles because I want this edge to look clean. So I'm going to draw up those stacked singles so they can still be elongated, but 1 double crochet over on top of the double, and then of course the usual shells over the shells. A total of 13 shells across, and just continue to do this until you have 9 total rows completed, and then row 10, I'll come back for row 10. 9 rows done. Let's see what we have to do next. Okay, so it says here, this is very awkward. Okay, do 4 chain and turn the work. Do 2 treble in the center of the next group of treble stitches. Do 4 treble in the center of each of the following 11 groups. Do 2 treble in the center of the last group, and 1 treble under the space of chain at end. Okay, and let's see here, 11th, do 4 chain and turn the work. Do 4 treble in the center of each of the 11 groups. Do 4 chain and turn the work. Do 4 treble in the center of each of the 11 groups of treble of the last row, and 1 treble under the space of the chain at the end. And then let's see here, 10 or 12, I mean. Do 4 chain, then turn the work. Do 2 treble in the center of the first, so we're going to decrease again. 4 treble in the center of each of the following. Okay, so I'm going to work all 3 of these rows off camera. So it looks like we're going to be doing some decreasing. I will hold this up so that you can see how that reads out, so that you can have that for yourself. Okay. I will be right back, but first I'll start this off with you. Okay, so it said to do 2. So that's going to be our decrease, and then do 4, and then just do 2 into the last group as well. All right, I'm going to go ahead and work 10, 11, and 12 off camera, but that's how the decreases are done. And then whenever you come back, you'll just skip over this whole section here. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm on row 13 now, and row 13 is the same as row 11. So I'm just going to jump over these 2 and work over, what do I have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Work over the 9, and then I will come back for row 14. Okay, row 14 is going to be our last decrease row. So you're going to decrease just like before by working 2 double crochet into the first and last group, and there will be 7 groups of 4 going down the middle. So there you go. All right, I'll see you in a minute. Okay, all done with row 14. It did say to break off, so I cut, and here are the instructions. It says here, work a row with white wool round the hood, not the shawl. Begin in the place where the hood began, and do 1 treble stitch in the edge of the 7th row of the shawl, basically where the hood started. Then do 3 treble under each loop of the chain upside of the hood. Then 3 treble in the center of groups, and also 3 treble in the spaces between the groups of the last row at the top of the hood. Then 3 under each loop of chain down the opposite side of the hood, and 1 treble into the 7th row of the shawl, pretty much on the other side of the hood, where the treble stitch is already worked, and fasten off. There you go. I'm going to hold that up for you. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and work that. Let me go ahead and start that with you though. So here's where it began. I can see my tail. This is where it began. Here is that stitch. No. Yeah, that's right. I was going to do a stacked single. Okay. So 3 treble under each loop chain. I'm assuming that I need to continue to elongate them because it's not saying not to. Okay, so just under all these loop chains, I'm guessing I'm working every other row, or maybe that will help it to curve a little bit. So I'm going to give that a try, and I will let you know how that works out, because that would kind of cinch it up a little bit. Okay, I'll be right back. I'm going to work this off camera and then let you know how it looks. Yeah, that's going to help it to curve a little bit. Okay, so for the border, I just wanted to practice a little bit before I jumped on here. Go ahead and take your accent color, and I'm starting at one of the bottom points of the shawl. So like, here's the hood. I'm just following the side of it down to one of the bottom points. I started with a stacked single, but we're going to want to work 6 double crochet. I don't think they have to be elongated, just regular double crochet into this space here. Okay, skip 1 stitch, work a single crochet, skip another stitch, and in the next stitch over, work your 6 double crochet shell. And this is the repeat all around. Of course, whenever you get to the edge, just do your best to keep them as even as possible. When you get to where you don't have any actual stitches to work in, so like you're working here, just do your best to keep everything as even as possible. Okay, I dressed up my mannequin to use as a Halloween prop this year, but right now she's going to model our new cape. And the front again, and this ribbon I used is actually a velvet ribbon. So I used the thick ribbon around the neck, and then I ran out of it, so I had to get the matching velvet thin ribbon to put around here, and then I just pulled both the drawstrings and tied them together. So they are both tied together to keep everything shut. And there we go. I'm going to say this one's 1890s because it's toward the back of the book, and these publications are listed in this book, you know, chronologically. So this is toward the back of the book. So I would definitely say this is 1880s and 1890s, and it would be late 1890s. So probably like 1897. So there you go. There is the back. I think it turned out just how it looks in the picture. I would definitely conclude, yes, I can crochet that. And there it is in the book. The only difference is I didn't put a bow on top. Hey, I finished it, the 1880s ladies jacket, and I added some lace around the neck and on both sides, up and down, just to add a little something. I didn't bother putting any on the sleeves, but there it is. Oh, I really like it. Let me turn it around to the back. Well, here's the side. You can see the sleeves are a different color because I ran out of the one color of yarn. The back tabs are longer, but they're supposed to be. Now, these are meant to lay over the top of a very full skirt with lots of petticoats. So you have to imagine these resting actually more on top of a dress rather than just hanging down the way they are. All of these are meant to be resting on a big full skirt. All right. What do you guys think? Oh, I can't wait to hear what you think. I really can't. I worked on this all morning. I started on it at 4 a.m. It is now it's 1:24. I put a lot of work in this morning. Unfortunately, the sleeves are a different color, but I think it's okay. I just wanted to see it done. And it's done. And I absolutely love the way the collar looks with that lace on it like that. I would say eventually I can crochet this. Now let's open it up, and I will put it on myself. It is too small for me. And here's how it looks opened up and relaxed. Now I will try this on. It does not fit me. It is way too small for me, but I will try it on for you. So in front of a mirror is the best I can do. I don't have any cameramen handy today. It's too small. Yep. It's too small for me. And it feels tight around the back and on the shoulders, but sorry, I don't know how to film myself on camera, you guys. I'm sorry. But anyways, yeah, that's how it looks on me. So here are the first two pieces of Can I Crochet That we have made. We're beginning an outfit here. Now in this book, we have ladies' hoods, we have petticoats and skirts, and I think we can make ourselves a whole outfit. I'll try to do my best to color coordinate. There it is from the back and side, and if my dress form had a head, it would have the hood up. But there we go. I think it's very pretty, very cool looking. I'm very proud of it. Maybe I'll make enough petticoats that I can put a bunch of petticoats on my dress form and throw a skirt over it, and we'll actually have something that resembles somewhat of an outfit from the last 20 years of the 1800s. I'll see you guys in the next video. Love you lots. Bye.